It's the last day, guys. Thank you for joining me for day 30 of Creep on June, hosted by Tracie Fox. If you've been following along with my story and you'd like a copy of it, I will be putting it up in my Ko-fi, whatever it's called, for free. It'll be for free in a few days. I just need to make sure all the formatting and everything is okay, because I literally copied and pasted it into a Word document from my notes app on my phone. But I will put up a community post and an Instagram post when it is there, and you can do with it whatever you wish. But morally, I'd really appreciate that you didn't sell it. Not that I think it's worth any money, but just say it anyway for avoidance of doubt. Also, if you do like the Poe content, I have more Poe related videos and I've mentioned them throughout, but just as a reminder, I have a Poe-vember playlist, which is a challenge hosted by Release the Crafting, and if you want to get involved in that, I'm pretty sure they're doing it again this year. And if you like my storytelling, I did write a bit of a silly story for another challenge a little while ago, again for a Release the Crafting challenge that was called Season of the Witch, and I will leave the playlist to that in the description as well. That was just a week-long challenge, so not a full month, pretty short video, so it won't take you too long to get through those if you fancy having a little look. But now, time for the grand finale. And like all the great series finales, this one probably peaked yesterday, but still worth a watch for completeness sake, so I'd appreciate it if you just stay tuned. So, day 30. Keeping time in a sort of runic rhyme. Oh, the bells, 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 what a tale their terror tells. And this final prompt is from the poem The Bells. And it's a poem about different types of bells. And there's completely unrelated, but there's a really good word in this poem. Tintinnabulation. Fun word. Say it out loud. Tintinnabulation. Feels nice in the mouth. Anyway, story time. Edgar awakes. He hears bells ringing in the distance. Church bells. He hasn't heard those once since he's been here. How strange. He gets dressed and finishes packing the rest of his belongings. He puts the stack of books and Alice's letter on the desk for her to find when he's gone. She knocks at his door. Edgar, I've brought you your clothes and breakfast to keep you going for the journey to the docks. Wonderful, Edgar says as he pops Alice's things out of the way behind the curtain on the windowsill, making a mental note not to forget to put them back later. He lets Alice in and thanks her for all the wonderful meals and laundry and just how much she's looked after him since he's been there. She tells him it was an absolute pleasure and she will never know how much he has done for her and her father. They don't talk about yesterday, but there's a knowing look between them. Once he's got all his things ready, they head downstairs. Eleanor, the owner, is waiting at the bottom of the stairs, and the kitchen hands, and Harold, and Peter, and Jack, and everyone he's met, and some that he hasn't met, all standing in the lobby like some kind of welcoming committee. Edgar and Alice stop halfway down the stairs for Edgar to take in what he's seeing. Harold starts to clap, and everyone else joins in. Edgar looks at Alice and she smiles. He says quietly, "So everyone knows then?" Alice replies, "They do. Harold is the biggest gossip in the village." They finish descending the stairs and everyone is patting Edgar on the back and shaking his hand and telling him how grateful they are. Eleanor's now waiting at the door and Edgar puts his hand in his pocket to get the last of his rent money. She says, "You put that away. I won't hear anything of it, Edgar. You saved this village, you and Alice and Richard and Geraldine. If anything, we owe you." "Oh, that's ever so kind of you, Eleanor. I can't thank you enough for all the kindness I've received since being here. I came here as someone who wanted nothing to do with anyone, and I'm leaving with such wonderful friends. I'll never forget this holiday." Alice says, Can you hear the church bells ringing, Edgar? They've never done that before, but after we lifted the curse, it's like they loosened up. And this morning they just started ringing. Isn't it the most wonderful sound? It truly, truly is, Edgar replies. They go outside with everyone following. Waiting outside the house is Richard and Geraldine, and they're standing in front of the most wonderfully grand horse and carriage. Edgar, old boy, said Richard, we had to make sure you left in style. Peter's family owns a company called Pickford's. They provide the royal family and other rich visitors to this county with transport, and they've let us borrow their finest carriage for the day. And look inside. Edgar's in disbelief. This is the most grandest thing he's ever seen. He cannot believe they've done all this for him. He looks inside. There are bottles of whiskey and ale, bakery items, cakes and pies, bread, more jam, a grand umbrella and a beautiful coat. These are all gifts from the shop owners for you to take home with you or consume on the boat, Richard exclaims. I'm so grateful to you all. Everything is just wonderful and I'll never ever forget you. Edgar can feel himself getting a little emotional. He's never felt so much love from strangers. Well, they aren't strangers, they're friends. Wonderful, wonderful friends. Now we need to get going if you're going to make this ship. Geraldine and Auguste is going to come with us too, and Alice and I will take them home after we drop you off. Edgar is delighted to see the magical woman and her beautiful, mysterious cat, and they all pile into the carriage, the 5 of them, plus Edgar's luggage, plus all the marvellous gifts, and there's still plenty of room in this grand vehicle. As the horse starts to trot off, everyone waves them off until they turn the corner and are out of sight. Edgar remembers he left Alice's letter behind the curtain. Oh well, he's sure she'll find it later. Auguste jumps up onto Edgar's lap and starts purring. Edgar looks up into the sky and sees a beautiful raven, circling around one last time before flying away and disappearing into the sky, to be seen nevermore. So I hope you enjoyed the final instalment there. I got a bit emotional when I was writing it, just imagining Edgar Allan Poe, a man renowned for heartache and loneliness, finding a piece of happiness in a little old northern English village. And I do hope that he and Alice kept in touch as pen pals, writing to each other over the subsequent years, but we will never know. All we have is this journal that Alice made of his visit with all of the leftover notes and pictures and newspaper cuttings and bits and pieces. So let's wrap this up by seeing what I made for today's chapter. So we've got the bell here that he wakes up to, and this is just a little flip out. There's the church that the bell's attached to. And then we've got Edgar there with his ticket and the 30 for the day. And here we've got the letter that he's written to Alice. And over the years it's got a bit stained, and it's sealed with a wax seal that just says, "With love." We're not going to open it. We'll never open it, because the letter is between Alice and Edgar and no one else. So it's just going to stay sealed in here forever. So what else have we got here? We've got the quote here, and then this is a release the crafting page, and then just a final word, love. So there is love, and it's not a romantic love, it's a platonic love, not just between Edgar and Alice, but Richard and Harold and Eleanor and everybody. And here we have the bell again. We've got the books, the stack of books that he's put aside, and here's all of the village folk waiting at the bottom of the stairs for him, clapping away, and then just blank on the back. And then we've got the beautiful carriage here, and Alice is dressed up for the occasion, and this is Edgar in his fine new coat, looking very, very dapper. And then if we go into the carriage, we've got Auguste the cat, we've got loads of bakery items, we've got the fancy umbrella, we've got the whiskey, we've got the ale, and there'll be some jam in there somewhere too. And then that's just blank. And then I've just got a bit of the telltale heart in the background there that I've sprayed, and just some lace down the side. And that is my make for day 30, Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm going to get a little bit gushy now, so bear with. So I do just want to finish by saying a massive thank you all so much for all of your support throughout Creep on June. I am absolutely blown away by how much you guys enjoyed my silly little story that I made. So much so that some of you even made your makes based on my story, and you have no idea how happy that makes me. And I only really made up the story because I felt that I needed to make some kind of story just in order to fit in things like Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and stuff, because in my head, you know, Poe and those things never coexisted together. So I kind of had to try and figure out a way to get that to happen, and that's just how my brain works. And then it just kind of grew from there. And I only ever had written maybe 2 days ahead maximum, sometimes only 1 day ahead, so I never really knew where it was going. And I've said it about 12 times, but I had no real plan with this story, so I'm surprised I managed to get it to some form of conclusion. So to hear all of your wonderful comments, and to be tagged in your makes on Facebook and Instagram, and to hear your interpretations of my story and what you took from it was just the most wonderful thing. And of course, seeing everyone else's makes, finding new creators and being inspired to try new techniques too. And I've tried to, anytime I've mentioned somebody, I've tried to remember to tag them in the description. But it's been an absolute blast. So I will do a final flip through video in the coming days, so keep an eye out for that. And please do check out my other videos if you get the time. And if you're not subscribed, please do hit that button and turn on that bell so you can see what I upload next. But thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. See you soon. Bye.